Chloe Peterson says, sources confirmed to me, Caitlin Clark suffered a very mild bone bruise in her left ankle on August the 7th. So Caitlin Clark basically got hurt again. How did she get hurt again? I don't know. It's definitely looking hella spooky right now, because if Caitlin was hurt and supposed to have been not doing certain things, how do the Fever organization allow her to get hurt again?
The heartbreak in Indiana right now is unreal. Fever fans are living through their worst nightmare, and it feels like a punch straight to the gut. Caitlin Clark, the superstar who single-handedly turned empty seats into packed houses, is now trapped in an endless cycle of injury reports. And this time, it isn't just about missing a few games. It's about possibly losing an entire season. The most electric talent the WNBA has ever seen is being sidelined, and the ripple effects are devastating.
What were the odds that the Indiana Fever would miss the playoffs prior to this season taking place? There's so much fishiness going on in this league, and you just sniff around a little bit, you can tell. What is the payout for somebody who bet, the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark, with a new head coach, with all these new additions? What's the payout if they just, surprise, miss the playoffs? Indiana Fever reporters, beat writers, pawns, whatever you want to call them, they are suddenly reporting an August 7th ankle injury.
The stats tell a story that's hard to swallow. Clark has already missed 22 games this season. 22. That's more than some players sit out over the course of their entire careers. For fans who are used to seeing her as the Iron Woman of basketball, the number is staggering.
None of this stuff, like, why tell us now? None of this stuff is just, it's not making sense, man. I mean, this organization, man, it's being run like a mom and pop shop, bro. Like, God, like, what is going on? What is going on, man? I mean, it's ridiculous at this point. It's just flat out, it's absurd. I don't even, nobody knows what's going on. Everybody's liars. We can't get the truth about anything. There's a video of Caitlin Clark trying to jog. She looks awful just trying to trot. I mean, I don't know what's going on. This is terrible. I told y'all, bro, it's a wrap. I don't want to say it's a wrap. I told y'all she's done for the season. It's a wrap.
This is the same Caitlin Clark who never missed a single game in 4 years at Iowa, who powered through her rookie WNBA season without skipping a beat. Now, she's piling up injuries like they are souvenirs. A quad strain, a groin injury on the left side, then the right side, and now a bone bruise in her ankle, all while she was trying to recover from the first round of setbacks. It's like watching a priceless painting get spray painted over in real time.
And so yesterday, we knew about the quad injury earlier this summer. We knew about the groin injury that's kept her sidelined damn near the entire season. Now we are being told that Caitlin Clark suffered a bone bruise in her ankle during a workout 2 weeks ago. This poor girl is falling apart in her early 20s. Part of me understands the push to get Caitlin Clark back on the court. The Indiana Felines are barely hanging on to their playoff spot.
If you are enjoying, please subscribe. But let's keep it real. What's happening to Clark isn't just a string of bad luck. It feels systematic. It feels calculated. The WNBA's brightest star is being chipped away piece by piece, and the league is letting it happen. This season was supposed to be different. Indiana finally built a roster that looked ready to chase a championship. Fans were buzzing. Tickets sold out. Hope was everywhere. And then, just like that, it all came crashing down.
Because Caitlin Clark is the most covered player the WNBA has ever seen. So if she had an injury or tweak something or hurt something almost 2 weeks ago, you probably think we would have heard about it by now, right? Right. Scott Agnes reports Fever All-Star guard Caitlin Clark tweaked her left ankle during a workout in Phoenix, league sources told Fieldhouse Files. Chloe Peterson confirms this. Sources confirm to me that Caitlin Clark suffered a very mild bone bruise in her left ankle. A tweak, bone bruise, forget it.
The first domino? That left quad strain. She sat for 5 games but came roaring back with a 32-point masterpiece against the defending champion Liberty. For a second, it felt like the storm had passed. But then came the groin injury, another 4 games gone. And when she returned, the magic wasn't there. She averaged just 12.5 points on 31% shooting. It wasn't the Caitlin Clark fans had come to worship.
The Caitlin Clark injury situation is officially a mess because not only is there not more clarity, there's more confusion about what her timeline could be. And that's coming on the heels of it seeming to be pretty clear when Clark would return to the court, or about when she would return to the court. It was said on the ESPN broadcast on August 12th that Stephanie White hoped Clark would be back in practice this week. Open portion of practice, Clark is not seen. And Stephanie White afterwards said it's status quo until Clark is back at practice. Well, what changed? Right? I know there's never been a direct timeline, but all the signs seem to point in the direction of Clark returning soon.
And then came the gut punch. July 15th against Connecticut, the right groin injury. That one's been keeping her out for over a month now, with no end in sight. But the basketball gods weren't done. During rehab, she tweaked her left ankle, leaving her with a bone bruise on top of everything else. They called it mild. They said it wouldn't delay her recovery. But anyone who knows injuries knows the truth. These things stack up. They compound. And suddenly, you're standing on a crumbling foundation.
And we have no idea when Caitlin Clark is coming back or if she is coming back at all. Every time that they get asked, they just say TBD. We have no idea what's going on, which is, in my opinion, quite suspicious. You kind of know what is going to happen with an injury. The doctors can give you an estimate. The player can tell you, you know what, I'm not really feeling that great. I don't expect to be coming back. But she has been practicing with the team. Maybe she's going to come back for the playoffs and help them get that championship, or at least try to get the championship.
And here's the infuriating part. This didn't happen in some random, unlucky bubble. This was years in the making. The WNBA has been letting players treat Caitlin Clark like she's fair game for cheap shots. Eye pokes, shoves to the floor, blind sides that never get called. Marina Mabrey got upgraded to a flagrant after knocking her down. JC Sheldon went straight for her eyes. And officials? They just shrugged. If this is how you treat your biggest star, what message are you sending?
Yeah, it's crazy. They can't see all of these fouls and flagrants that's happening, especially when it comes to our precious CC, Caitlin Clark, at the end of the day, but they have time to pay attention to your podcast and finding you. You know what I'm saying? Because of you calling them out on their mess. You know what I'm saying? We don't care about them jive turkeys like they would say in the 70s. At the end of the day, keep it to yourself. Even if you did know when Caitlin Clark, aka my precious and our precious CC, was coming back, which we know she's not coming back. She's out for the rest of the season. She needs to stay out for the rest of the season because of this organization in the WNBA is a whole catastrophe.
Even Lisa Bluder, Clark's old coach at Iowa, saw it coming. She begged the league for stronger rules, harsher fines, automatic ejections for dirty plays. But the WNBA turned a blind eye. They cashed the checks Clark was earning them and ignored the beatdowns she was taking every night. And now, the golden goose they failed to protect is stuck watching her season unravel. From never missing a game in her entire career to missing 60% of this year? That's not coincidence. That's negligence. Fans who once spent $600 just for a ticket are now left with vague updates and hollow reassurances. Head coach Stephanie White keeps saying the same thing. Until she's in practice, it's status quo. Translation: nobody knows if she's coming back.
I can't stand Stephanie White because she keeps covering up and doing lies, and I find her very deceiving, and she lacks integrity. She don't tell the truth. Remember, she covered for Dewana Bonner, saying she had personal reasons and didn't tell the truth about it. And then she lied about Caitlin Clark's injury, where it was a lot severe than it was, but she said day to day, kept stringing a carrot. And then once again, she lied again and didn't say a word about her being hurt, getting her ankle hurt. What's up with this team being like very deceiving and not telling the truth and not like being transparent with the fans? Like, people love Caitlin Clark. They want to know what's going on. They're worried about her groin injury. Is she getting better? Is she not? You know, we're all thinking, oh, she might be coming back soon.
The Fever deserves some credit for staying afloat without her, going 10-9 in games she's missed. But let's not sugarcoat it. This roster was built for one reason: to win with Caitlin Clark. Without her, they are a middle-of-the-pack team clinging to the playoffs. Injuries aren't just hitting Clark either. Sydney Colson? Torn ACL. Ari McDonald? Broken foot. Sophie Cunningham? Season-ending injury. It feels like Indiana has been cursed for daring to build around their superstar. Fans are beyond frustrated. Social media is exploding with demands. Some want Clark shut down for the season. Others want investigations into officiating. And honestly, can you blame them? When your franchise player goes from invincible to fragile overnight, something's seriously broken.
She is an engine, but she suffered 3 lower leg injuries, and now we're talking about Caitlin Clark suffering a minor leg injury as well in practice, which has affected her shot while she was trying to play through her injuries, affected her shooting for her long distance, her jumping, her elevation. We all know what happens when you aren't right as a guard and you have to get lift and you have to score, you have to push off on your legs and your foot. You do not want to risk Caitlin Clark coming back and her suffering serious injury that may prolong her being out for even longer. That's not what you want to do. We've seen it happen to Kevin Durant. When he came back, he had a calf strain. We've seen it happen to...
The league now finds itself in a nightmare scenario. Their biggest star, their cash cow, their ticket to mainstream relevancy, isn't on the court. Instead, she's just a what-if. Meanwhile, the WNBA's off-court headlines are just as messy, from security concerns to bizarre incidents like sex toys being thrown on the court. But all of that pales in comparison to the Caitlin Clark crisis. This isn't about one player. This is about a league that refuses to protect its greatest asset. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert can talk about player safety task forces all she wants, but where was that safety when Clark was being targeted? Where were the suspensions? Where was the accountability?
The storylines in the WNBA dump have been non-existent since Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have been injured. Now, with Sophie Cunningham out for the season, there are literally no stars in the WNBA. It would not surprise me if the Indiana Felines were being pressured by either the WNBA Players Union or the league itself. Hell, maybe both. It wouldn't surprise me if the Felines were being pressured to get the Roo from Waterloo back on the court. But like I've been telling you guys for weeks, Caitlin Clark is not coming back this season.
Now, with just 9 regular season games left, reality is setting in. Clark may not play another minute this year. The ankle bruise might be called mild, but combined with a groin that still hasn't healed, it's a ticking clock with no clear finish line. Analyst Rachel Demeter said the words fans didn't want to hear: "I don't think Caitlin Clark is coming back." The statement hit fans like a gut punch. The player who was supposed to carry the Fever to glory, the player who was going to cement herself as the face of the WNBA, is instead fighting just to make it through practice.
This is the last thing that I'll say about that podcast interview. As Sophie did mention, she talked about Caitlin Clark briefly and her recovery, and she basically just said, like, it is a day-to-day thing. Caitlin doesn't even know when she will be back, so she didn't really give any more information than that. But I think a lot of fans are speculating, will Caitlin Clark be back? Because Sophie is now out for the season, will the Indiana Fever risk it by bringing Caitlin Clark back? If Sophie is out, do the Fever even have a chance in the playoffs? Why would you bring Caitlin Clark back? Should you bring Caitlin Clark back? Will she be practicing this week? They have a tough stretch of games. Are they going to bring her back against a team like the Minnesota Lynx? We just don't know. And I, like I've said in the past few videos, I don't think Caitlin Clark is coming back.
And here's the hardest truth. This didn't have to happen. Every injury, every setback could have been prevented if the WNBA had stepped up. If referees had called fouls. If dirty plays had consequences. If protecting stars had been a priority. Instead, Clark became a punching bag for veterans who couldn't match her talent. Now, instead of ascending into superstardom, she's learning what it feels like to be fragile, to be sidelined, to wonder if her prime is slipping away before it even started.
Is that something you and the medical staff just kind of reiterate with her? Just, hey, it's okay, take your time, there's a big picture we got to think about here?
Yeah, and I think just the experience throughout the year, trying to come back and come back quickly, has also taught her, that she needs to make sure that she's 100%. And yes, every competitor wants to play. But at the same time, doing it the right way and making sure after we've had a couple of setbacks that we're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness is the most important thing.
The fans who once packed arenas just to watch her warm-ups now hold their breath at every injury update. The highlight reels have been replaced with medical reports. And the WNBA, the very league she dragged into the mainstream, looks completely lost without her. This wasn't just another injury. This was a catastrophic failure of leadership and protection. Caitlin Clark should be gearing up for the playoffs. Instead, she's watching from the sidelines, a casualty of the league's negligence. The 2025 season is slipping away, and with it, maybe the chance to see Clark at her best again. What should have been a breakout year has turned into a preventable tragedy.